Hey, and welcome to Xbox On, where we're still getting over the excitement from X019 last week.
The event brought a ton of exciting new Xbox games to London, plus an enormous Inside Xbox, which revealed even more.
Just so many games. Too many to squeeze into a single video, so we've picked out 10 of our favourite things we saw, played, and got hyped for at X019.
Ken, you read his file?
Only the parts that weren't covered in black ink.
First up, one of the best installments in one of the best shooter series of all time. That's right, it's Halo Reach, dropping onto Xbox and PC in December with a sharp new look as part of the Master Chief Collection.
Reach is a prequel taking us back to the time before Master Chief first evolved combat and introducing a whole team of new Spartans, including George and Kat, who you might recognise from their cameos in Gears 5.
It was the first Halo game to introduce loadouts and armor abilities, completing the arsenal and giving you tons of ways to play in both single and multiplayer.
Nearly a decade after it first launched, Reach still feels great, and with its 4K ready remaster, it looks as good as new.
Damn you, you useless corpse!
So Henry, we've got a dozen characters with unique abilities split into two teams, duking it out in a big arena over multiple control points. Does that sound familiar?
Yeah, Bleeding Edge, the new game from Devil May Cry and Hellblade developers Ninja Theory. It's kind of a hero shooter, but with two big differences.
First, these brawlers are just as likely to be using their fists or swords, or in one case, a guitar, as they're actually all guns.
Plus, this action all takes place in third person, which means you get more chance to appreciate your hero's weird and wonderful design. And
you'll want to do that, because this roster is filled with fascinating characters. From Zero Cool, the healer in his floating gamer chair, to Cass, a woman with robotic ostrich legs, and Nidhogger, a non-more goth rocker with a deadly power slide.
He's the one with the guitar in case you hadn't guessed. We've known about Bleeding Edge since E3, but X019 was our first chance to play a round or two, and Inside Xbox revealed its release date, 24th of March next year. Inside Xbox also gave us our first glimpse of the next Age of Empires game.
It's the first new installment in this beloved strategy series for nearly 15 years, and it looks utterly gorgeous.
These games have always been about commanding huge armies and building enormous settlements, but Age of Empires 4 pairs up that scale with an incredible level of detail.
The trailer showed off a siege epic enough to make the Lord of the Rings movies blush, and we can't wait to get our hands on it.
If you're feeling the same way, you'll be pleased to know that Age of Empires 2 Definitive Edition came out just last week with a 4K makeover for the classic game, plus a brand new expansion, The Last Khans. And you can play it all right now on Xbox Game Pass for PC.
KartRider Drift is, well, you might be able to guess from the name. It's a very does what it says on the tin title. Cute characters racing on colourful tracks and throwing weapons at one another to take the lead.
But once you actually get your hands on the wheel, you'll start to realise why the KartRider series already has hundreds of millions of fans in Korea and China.
The game has been going for 15 years, but this is their first big push into the West.
One of the things that really stands out is the drifting, something so important they put it right there in the title.
Drifts throw you around corners like you've slipped on an oil slick, but with just enough grip to stay in control.
If you're racing in speed mode, drifts will also charge your nitrous gauge to give you an extra boost of speed just when you need it. Or you can choose to play item mode, which is all about power-ups, so you can smash rivals with a rocket or suck them up into a UFO.
The game is due to cross the finishing line to launch next year and will be free to play on both Xbox One and PC.
Have you ever watched a horror film and found yourself rooting for the monster instead of the humans?
It happens sometimes. If so, Carrion is the game for you, a Metroidvania where you play the thing that goes bump in the night.
You control a fleshy red lump that moves through levels with sickening slickness, grabbing bits of the level with your tendrils.
You start out small but grow by eating people, and not that they're too happy about this arrangement, so you might have to do some convincing.
By which we mean pulling them into vents, throwing doors in their general direction. Sounds like fun, doesn't it?
You absolute monster. You can feed the beast within when Carrion arrives on Xbox Game Pass for console and PC next year.
You will have to think fast to survive. Perhaps you will even escape.
And speaking of playing the bad guy, Project Resistance is a multiplayer spin-off from the Resident Evil series that pits 4 survivors against one evil mastermind.
If you're a survivor, it plays just like this year's brilliant Resident Evil 2 remake. You're trying to escape a facility by solving puzzles and fighting off hordes of zombies with the added stress of a countdown timer.
For the Mastermind though, Project Resistance offers a very different experience.
You can jump between security camera feeds, placing zombies and traps, turning off lights and locking doors to torment your victims.
You can even jump into the shambling shoes of the undead, taking control of any foe you put down, including the unstoppable tyrant Mr. X, who scared our socks off in Resident Evil 2.
It's nice to turn the tables sometimes, isn't it?
Yeah.
Grounded is a change of perspective from Obsidian in two senses. First, because it's a survival game from the legendary RPG developer behind The Outer Worlds, but also because, well, you're grounded in that you're really, really small.
I don't know how that feels. Expect to encounter baseballs the size of boulders and terrifyingly large ladybirds. You do all the things you'd expect in a survival game, just littler.
To stay alive, you'll need to drink from huge dewdrops and roast aphids over the campfire. You can build fortresses from blades of grass and mine acorns for crafting materials.
And don't get me started on those massive spiders. The game will be arriving on Xbox Game Preview next spring with 4-player co-op.
So gather your pals and get ready to go on a little big adventure.
Deep within these halls awaits a powerful necromancer.
A new Minecraft game is always going to be cause for celebration, and right now we're looking at 2 of them!
While Minecraft Earth brings its blocky world into real life via mobile, Minecraft Dungeons takes the game into a whole new genre, a Diablo-style dungeon crawler that's all about the loot.
So much so, in fact, that there are no classes in Minecraft Dungeons. The way your character plays is based entirely on the loot you equip to them, and there's some ridiculously fun stuff to find.
Think explosive fireworks, wind horns to literally blow enemies away, and hunks of meat that summon a wolf companion. You're about halfway there.
Plus, every weapon can be enchanted to add a powerful ability, like arrows that ricochet around the level, or a gravity well that sucks enemies toward your waiting sword.
With tons of randomization in both level layout and loot drops, every adventure will feel fresh and new, making sure that you want to revisit these dungeons again and again.
The bad ones, sometimes they stick around when they ain't supposed to.
Next up, a game you can play right now. West of Dead made its world premiere at X019 and has an open beta running until the 25th of November.
It's a slick and stylish twin-stick shooter set in an especially Wild Wild West.
You play a flaming-headed skeleton cowboy voiced by none other than Ron Hellboy Perlman, whose job is corralling the many demons and assorted other undead souls who have invaded the town of Purgatory, Wyoming.
So grab your 6-shooter and get the West of Dead beta a spin while you can.
Even if you've never played a flight sim before, you're definitely going to want to check out Microsoft's Flight Simulator. Trust us.
The game lets you fly the entire world, recreated from satellite data from the Great Wall of China to the house you grew up in.
For any aviation amateurs, you can set the controls for a newbie-friendly experience, but veteran pilots can turn off assistance for the full flying simulation.
At X019, we had the chance to climb inside a cockpit with some impressively realistic controls, touring the skies of Seattle and Naples.
Whether it's night or day, sunny or raining, it's a pretty great way of seeing the world without ever having to leave your sofa or your custom cockpit setup, if that's more your thing.
That's just a small fraction of the games we played at X019 and saw during Inside Xbox.
If you were there or just following along at home, let us know in the comments what you're most excited about.
And for more on all of these games as we head into 2020, make sure you're subscribed to our YouTube channel and check us out on Mixer, where we stream the best Xbox titles every weekday.
So smash that like button and we'll see you again soon. Bye!
See ya!